Morning, peeps. I'm back, and today we're going to have a chat about strategy. This is going to be a strategy video because we've had 9 weeks now, and it's very, very clear that everything has changed. This season is like no other, and it's not just the fantasy rules that have changed, it's the actual play on the pitch. So we're going to be discussing all of that. We're going to look at how we can maximise our teams to take advantage of it and how it looks like a lot of us are playing it wrong. So, first thing is we've got the DEFCONs. We all know about them. Not much point talking about them except that it is benefiting defenders and midfielders over strikers. The second thing is the bonus changes, which again are favouring defenders over strikers. The third thing is the new assist rules with the flick-ons that tend to happen at set pieces, which is exactly what happened with Rice's assist yesterday. He just flicked it on. Burnley players got it whoever they were playing, and then Arsenal player got it. Goal, assist for Rice, which a lot of people were trying to claim should have been Gabriel's. But so that's changed. And not only have those three things changed, but the actual play on the pitch has changed to be more centred around exactly those things, set pieces. Whether it's long throw-ins, corners, or free kicks. Often now you will see when a team's attacking, they won't even try and attack. They'll try and win a corner instead. Because they've all got all these set piece coaches that are better at corners than they were, and they're actually targeting them. They're even targeting throw-ins now. It's getting absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's like a league of set pieces. Slot's complaining about it, isn't he? About Liverpool losing. Because all his opponents have the cheek to play throw-ins against him. You know what I mean? So everything's changing. And all these changes, none of them benefit strikers because set pieces, the whole team tends to be up. So the share of goals is spread more evenly throughout the team. You know, the big lads at the back are up. You've got the midfielders hanging around the goal. Strikers, a lot of them quite small, kind of, or whatever. And they're just not involved. They're not involved. Couple this with the fact that they're not even informed, most of them. I mean, João Pedro and Gyökeres. I tell you what, peeps, right? I had 5 green arrows to start the season. It was looking good. I thought I'll save a few transfers up. My team literally just stopped getting points. 3 weeks in a row. It's actually like a whole month when you take into account the international break of my players just not performing. I mean, forget about the players I haven't got, like Van der Ven, Gabriel, all them. But the players I've actually got have done absolutely nothing for 3 weeks. And it's not like they're even bad players. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. And a lot of the blame, I think, lies at the strikers. But you can't even blame them. It's the system that they're playing. You know, Gyökeres at Arsenal, the system is just not set up. I mean, we kind of knew this, but we felt that striker at Arsenal, what can go wrong? Do you know what I mean? Best team in the league, good fixtures, he's going to get points. Well, we'll see at the weekend whether he gets points or not when they play Burnley. But if it wasn't for him scoring 2 goals on international duty, I probably would have already got rid of him. So, right, we've got to work out now what we're going to do about it, because a lot of people this week are changing João Pedro to Mateta. And that does nothing to address this change. It just keeps everything the same except swapping one striker for another. And I'm not prepared to do that. I've had enough. I've had enough, peeps. I can see everything's changed. We talked about it weeks ago. People were talking about going to a back 5. But a lot of people didn't do it, you know. I mean, it was a small sample size and everything else. But now it's becoming increasingly clear Now, even if strikers are scoring goals, there's still not going to be enough to outscore defenders and midfielders when they've got these DEFCON points rolling in to compensate for the goals the strikers are getting. And when a striker does get a goal, it's invariably no bonus points. You know, they need to score 2 basically. And even then, they're getting like 13 points or whatever. When we're seeing defenders, I mean, Van der Ven, 23 points yesterday. I mean, obviously you're not going to have him most of the time. You're not going to have the defenders when they get these points. But like I got 13 from Rodon this week. You know, and a striker to get 13 has to score 2 goals. And it's just not happening. So the question is what to do about it. Well, the first thing I'm going to do about it is take out João Pedro, who clearly isn't right. I don't know what's happening here. It's very odd. So take out João Pedro and bring in Gui. Let's have a look. Select club, Chelsea, Gui. So Gui's going to come in this week. I've got 3 free transfers, so I can start putting this plan into play. Now, I want to beef up defence. I want to beef up midfield. Both of them need beefing up. I think this week the priority is clearly Arsenal defence. Saliba's injured, so it's unlikely Gabriel's going to get a rest. I'm quite loath to bring him in at this price, but I feel like it's unavoidable. I mean, everything's favouring him. Everything. You know, the way Arsenal play, the bonus system, the flick on assist rule, everything. Everything. And we've seen that Arsenal, with Zubamendi coming in, and a few others, are much better than they were last season. So the only way I can stop him getting clean sheets, unfortunately, is to buy him. That's one of the rules of FPL, peeps. So, like the one I said yesterday, if you don't own an Arsenal defender, the chance of a clean sheet isn't 40%, it's 100%. It's only when you own them that the clean sheets disappear. Except for you lot, of course, they haven't. Right, so let's have a look. So I think Lacroix, I'm not as high on Palace as most people. I think they are. I'm prepared to punt Palace. I'm going to punt them. I know they're a good team, but I feel like the workload, the lack of depth in the squad, is going to catch up with them at some stage. So I'm prepared to punt them. And I don't think Lacroix. You know, I don't rule out getting Munoz in, but I don't think Lacroix or Richards I don't think Lacroix is the best asset. From what I've seen, he only gets for DEFCONs in the tough matches when he's likely to be on my bench anyway. Whereas some other players are getting him in most matches. He's not one of them. And at 5.1 million, I think I can do better. So he might well be my Gabriel change. But this, of course, depends on Anderson, which is a bit annoying because I might not find out about Anderson before Gabriel's price rises today. So it makes things just a little bit tricky. So I'm going to have to let Blimmin Gabriel go up to 6.5, I think. So that's my moves this week. And it moves me towards this plan of going to a 4-5-1 or a 5-4-1 or like a hybrid 4-4-5-2s or whatever. So we skipped to game week 12 when I have another 2 transfers. I reset that game week because I was messing around with it. So that's game week 12. Gyökeres will be coming out finally. Finally coming out, peeps. Thank goodness for that. Now, my replacement for Gyökeres is either going to be completely off the wall madness of Creepy Jr. to play a pure one up front, which is kind of risky, isn't it, when I think about it? Supposing Haaland gets a little knock or something or is rested, then that could be a bit of an issue. Although I do think Creepy is going to get minutes in every match, probably. You know, he's going to come on at some stage, isn't he, during the game? Gooey probably won't once the lap's back. So that's one option, which allows an absolutely ridiculous amount of talent in the rest of the team. So Buemo can come in for stack. Reinders can come out for somebody like Gakpo. And I've still got 1.3 million in the bank. And you can just have an amazing team with only one striker in it. So that's one consideration. Second consideration's a bit more normal, I'd say, in getting somebody like Thiago or Delap once he comes back, and just having like a mixed. So some weeks I can play 2 at the front, some weeks I can play 1 at the back. That's maximum flexibility, and it's probably, to be fair, the most sensible solution. You know, I can get Gakpo in for their fixtures that get really good. I mean, Gakpo's still looking like the best Liverpool asset to own, isn't he? And then you can kind of have a 3-5-2, 4-4-2, 4-5-1, 5-4-1. You can kind of have them all in that kind of scenario. Obviously, you'd be playing Senesi in game week 12. And Reinders, still enough money to turn Reinders into anybody up to 7.8 in this team. You know, I might well actually improve the defenders even more, put more money into defence. Or does somebody like, somebody like Gordon could come in when he gets good fixtures. But to me, it seems to be that too much money up front is not good. It's really hamstrung me for the last 3 weeks. I've had 0 money in the bank and no real way to improve the team. So I think João Pedro really has to go. And like I said, if I did get Mateta, let's say I get Mateta, which is what everybody else is doing this season. If I get Mateta, it kind of hamstrings me. You know, I've got 0 in the bank if I do that. I can't get Gabriel in this week. I can't really do anything if I get Mateta, other than downgrade Fernandes or Saka or Gyökeres, which is too early, I think, to do that. So for me, Mateta is very much a non-option. You know, so if you're the kind of person that does what content creators do, because they're all bringing in Mateta this week, if you're one of those that blindly follow them, then I really do urge you to think about your own team, because what's right for their team certainly might not be what's right for yours. And Mateta, for me, no matter how good he might be, is not great for my overall team. So I shall be going with Gooey. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with Gooey rather than Krupa Jr. because there is a 0.3 price difference between the two. So I'll be doing that. I will be getting an Arsenal defender in, and it will be Gabriel. And like I said, once Gyökeres comes out, I mean, there's a huge amount of choice. I mean, I could get the Newcastle defender or mid striker or whatever. But it's clear that this season, having too much in attack is not good. It is not good at all. You know. And the other thing, of course, is Palmer could well be back at some stage, although I think we're a long way away from being able to pick him as a worthy asset. But it's clear, peeps, that times have changed and we have to start taking notice of that. So I thought I'd mention that today with a strategy thing, just because we've had enough chance now to look at it. And the other thing is a lot of us are taking out Michel Pedro this week, and it's quite important for your long-term structure, I think, who you bring in. You know, are you going to just go to Arteta and keep the same system, or are you going to realise that or consider going bigger at the back? And I'm going bigger at the back. You know, I've had enough, basically. 3 weeks of my players doing absolutely nothing has tipped me over the edge. But I don't think it's not like a reaction, a knee jerk, because it's more a recognition that everything actually has changed, and it's not going to magically change back. You know, the way teams play, I don't think it's going to magically change and go back to what it was. If anything, it's going to get even worse. You wait till January, everyone's going to be buying players that are good at long throws or big tall players that can get on the end of them, and it's going to go more and more in that direction, I think, this season. And so, like I said, everything's fundamentally changed. As you know, peeps, when I finish a video, I no longer go to my exit screen. I play a game of 1 minute chess. So this is what we're doing again today. I'll be off form. I won yesterday. Will I win today? I'm playing a very strong player here by the look of it. My usual rubbish opening just to make him slow at the start. Takes them out of their regular patterns. You know, everyone's got patterns that they play. And when they're faced with something different, they have to think about it. And in why is he so slow? Surely he's going to speed up. Here we go. He's finally realised he's playing a game of 1 minute chess. Now he's super duper quick. Come in, let's come in there. Not going to like that. We've got a wonderful position. What's he done here? He can't get away with that shit. I mean, I've played reasonably well in this game, but like he's played a succession of rubbishy moves. He's taken far too long. This is like me in FPL. He took far too long to move, peeps. Far too long to move. You know, he could have had Gabriel at 6 million. He's paying 6.5 million for him now. Just like me earlier in the season. I'll tell you what, right? I changed my style this season. I changed my style. I went with no hits, no early transfers. For the first time ever, I started taking note of player projections from the analytics sites and all of that sort of thing. You know, I've completely changed my style this season, and I could not have chosen a worse season to do it, because being patient this season has been an absolute nightmare. Whether it was Watkins and Rodgers, I didn't have them, but you know, a lot of people did. Gyökeres, Wirtz, Gooey, sitting there waiting for these players to come right, and none of them have come right. Watkins and Rodgers. I mean, it looks like Watkins has started playing now, you know, after everyone's got rid of him. And Rodgers as well, and Villa. But it was the worst season to be patient. You know, if I'd taken a hit, for example, a couple of weeks ago, like I normally would have done, for Semenyo and Gabriel, I'd be like 50 points better off now. I'd be in the top 100k. Instead, I'm 1.5 million. Because at that crossroads, you know, all through life, everything you do, you come to crossroads and you decide. But like in life, you don't know what the other path would look like, do you? But in FPL, you know, because you make a decision. One path goes one way, the other goes the other way. You take the path, and you take the wrong path, and you can see exactly how the other path went. And it's very, very annoying in what was, at the time, a pretty rational decision to bring in Saka. But the consequences of it have been absolutely diabolical. And this happens all the time in FPL. So I'm hoping, I know I'm a good manager, and I'm hoping that things are going to come good soon. But I mean, I've got good players, but they're just not getting points. It's unbelievable. An unbelievable season, isn't it? When even yesterday I had a green arrow when the Everton game started, Everton-Tottenham, and I had a player in it as well. I had a player in it in Dye. He was probably one of the best players on the pitch, but still got no points. And this is like it's so frustrating. And then such a huge red arrow because somebody gets 23 points that you didn't even think people had. I mean, who's playing Van de Ven with Tottenham's fixtures? Craziness, absolutely craziness, peeps. Anyway, I'm off now, and hopefully you found this a bit useful, if only to make you think about what you're doing rather than just automatically go to Mateta, who could be a good option, but personally I'm thinking it's time to actually change my entire beliefs about this game, because the game has changed. I mean, I'm still doing okay. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in the pack. I mean, I'm probably about where I was last year. I'm actually doing better than I was this time last year. And I still finished 35k. So, but I think now's the time to realise that things have changed. Having said that, of course, João Pedro will probably get a hat-trick against Tottenham this week. But there's virtually no signs that that's going to happen at all. You know what I mean? So we shall see. But Chelsea do tend to play better against teams that let them play, whereas they are hopeless, absolutely hopeless against a low block. And Sunderland probably deserved their win last week. Anyway, peeps, I'm off now. So cheers for now. And I will talk to you all later. Okay, so